Alright guys, glad to have you back watching my videos today. It's hot out, it's muggy, we've had rain coming through, we've had storms in part of the state of Oklahoma tonight, so it's real muggy, but fall's coming and deer season's coming, and I am no archery expert. I bought a recurve bow several years ago, played around with it, couldn't get consistent, wound up passing it on to my oldest son, and then this year I took and decided I'm going to try bow hunting, so I bought a compound, and this is a Fleetwood Envoy 2. It's a Fleetwood Next Generation Envoy 2. It's got dual cam system on it. It's got just a generic arrow rest here that's got the 3 parts. I was looking at buying several different bows that were in the $300 range, and almost bought one on Amazon, and then I went to my local archery shop here, and the guy in there recommended this one. And what sold me on this one over the other ones that I was looking at that are in this price range is this right here, this sight. All the other ones had just real cheap sights. They might have had an arrow quiver or something as well, but the sight is going to be one of the biggest things on your bow that you're going to want to have that's decent. You can buy a quiver that's inexpensive and it worked for you just fine. You can buy a hip quiver or a back quiver or whatever you want to do with the arrows, but this sight is going to be the major thing. And here's what I like about this. I'm going to have him get the camera right here where you can see the pins. So it's got the level in here, so you can see if your bow's level. But this top part right here, when I twist it, this is a lighted sight, and so all the pins light up. And so when you're sighting in, if you're in a dark blind, you can see that pin and you know right where it's going to be on that deer. Or if the sun's going down and you're in your blind or in your in a tree stand or whatever, you can light it up and be able to see better where your arrows are going to go. So that's why I chose this one. I've been really happy with it. It's a 5-pin sight. The bow came just like it sits. We had to take and do some adjustments, of course, on the sights to get it lined up and get everything in tune and make sure that the peep sight was good. But that's my bow. The only addition that we have is I added a piece of paracord. Actually, the guy at the archery shop, I had the paracord already. He tied that on there for me just to be able to have a sling on there. So I've got a target set up way down there. That's 20 yards. The most I can get in my backyard is 25 maybe, if I'm up all the way up against the house. My lawn needs mowed, I know that. The guy holding the camera is supposed to do that, and it's super long. But we're going to take a few shots here. And I haven't shot in probably a month because it's just been so hot. It's hard getting out here and just taking the time to practice. consistent with your shots. With a lot of practice, take a minute to get your anchor points back, especially when you're not a very good archer. Alright, we're going to put this down and you'll see where they hit. Now, that is not a great grouping for me even. You can see that these 3 out of the 6, those would be in the kill zone. These are really close, these 3. So it's not terrible, but I should be able to get those in a whole lot closer grouping as I shoot more. As I walk back, I always check the tips, make sure they're tightened up. That way they make noise if you don't have them completely tightened. And so you hear the sound as you release them. Alright, we're going to shoot 6 more.
A little bit of a high shot right there. Ooh. That's center. That's a kill shot. Ooh, second kill shot. A little bit high and to the left. But it's definitely better groupings to look right now. Be a better grouping. That one, if he was aiming for that little circle over there, you know, it would be dead. But I don't think he was, sadly. If he was able to do that, that would be great for squirrel hunting. There we go, another kill shot. So I think that's 3 kill shots out of 3 out of 6. That's pretty good.
going to tilt it up here for you a little bit so you can see it better. I got 2 dead in the 10 ring, 1 in the white, another one in the white, and then these 2, I was having some issues with my eyes on this second one. This was my first shot. I'm trying to learn how to shoot with both eyes open. I've always taught myself to use like a scope. When I shoot a rifle, I always close an eye and look through it. And that's how squirrel hunting worked. But I'm learning that it's better to have both eyes open and be able to see what's going on around me and be able to see through the scope, especially if you're using it for defensive purposes. Same thing with the pistol. When I carry a pistol, I've always closed an eye to be able to shoot. Well, you're not supposed to close an eye. You're supposed to have both eyes open and be able to see that front sight. And so those are things I've been practicing and trying to train myself on. And so this shot, when it went off, I had sweat in my eye. And so I couldn't see it without closing one eye. I couldn't see it. So it's an excuse, and we know what our excuses are. Nothing more than an excuse. I'm off. And so I've got to practice more. But for having had this bow for 3 or 4 months, I've got a decent aim for 20 yards. And so my goal is to really nail 20 yards. If I can hit 20 yards every shot, and I can get them where I'm hitting in that kill zone area, the white circle or in the black in the middle, if I can hit that every time, I can hit a deer in its vitals every time at 20 yards. And then I wouldn't take a shot any further than 20. So that's my goal. I'm going to shoot 6 more and I'm going to be done because I'm just dripping in sweat.
Like right next to the other one.
It's getting really dark. It's hard to see what I'm aiming at. And that black, it's really hard when I turn the sight on. I can't hardly see the black box. It's so tiny.
From the looks of it, pretty high. On the good news, you got some good groupings. On the good.
My grouping's not great. I got one down low, at least one down low, maybe 2. Alright, let's go look at them.
Like these ones at the top, like they're almost in a line.
The grouping's tightening up a little bit better. I still have a flyer here and a flyer down here, but these 4 are actually really in a pretty decent grouping. I got 2 touching. Hands are now sweaty. So you can see those two, they're literally touching. They made a noise when they hit each other. And I've got several of my fletchings, well, vanes. These are vinyl, so they're probably called vanes. And they have nicks in them where I've hit them. You can see that one right there. It's really hard to see in this light, I'm sure. That's nicked. That's where another arrow hit it as it was coming in. And I've only got the 6 arrows that I practice with right now. I figure I'll buy more later. And buy the same ones, the same style. Well, that's shooting my bow. I'm gonna start trying to do this most evenings. Shoot 12, 18 arrows just to get more practice in, figure out what I'm doing wrong, adjust it the next night. I don't want to do too many of them at a time. When you get hot and you get tired, you start making mistakes, and then those mistakes, you start making them habits, and then you're just shooting terribly. And so I'm trying to keep it where I don't make any habits that are wrong. And I'm sure my form needs work. Those of you that are good archers will probably think my form's got some areas that need fixed. You can leave them in the comments. Like I said, I shot a bow as a kid. We actually had archery in the schools, and then I had my own fiberglass bow. I used to shoot it in the backyard. Probably shot it, maybe 5-10 yards into hay bales, and just did it for fun, enjoyed it. But now I'm trying to do it to hunt, and so I've got to get more consistent and get better at my shooting. All right, thanks for watching. We appreciate your views. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button down below. Smash the like on this if you like this type of video, and we'll see you in the next one.